Evening, people. We are back again with a brand new show, which means that we're going to be talking a little bit of Arsenal. I know it was England yesterday. I've done my reaction of that. Please make sure you check it out. Last video on the 12th Man show is myself and Dan Lawless last night talking about all things England, and the reaction from that, well worth a watch, to be fair, because there's some I think there's some good points in that. There's some good debates in that. So make sure you take a look at it. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like button. If you haven't done so already, please hit subscribe. I'm trying to get my subscribers up. I am trying so bad to get my subscribers up to 30k. So please help me by clicking the subscribe button. It is free to do. You do not have to pay a penny. A lot of people believe that when you hit the subscribe button, you're then going to be charged. That's absolutely not what it's about. So please make sure that you hit like, subscribe, and then hit the notification bell as well. So please make sure that you do those three things because they're absolutely free. If you do want to jump into super chat, if you do want to support the channel, you can do that by asking a question via super chat or by joining as a member and paying a minimal fee, which of course help the content and production of the channel. So please make sure that you do those things if you would like to support, but please hit the like and the subscribe button. Listen, guys, we're going to talk a little bit about Arsenal. We're going to talk some transfers. If I'm honest with you, is some absolutely mad news that I've heard today. So I want to get your opinions on it. Any questions you have for me in the chat, please make sure that you put a Q at the start so I know that it is a question and we can talk through it. We're going to be talking about a swap deal with Eddie and Nketiah. Yes, you heard it right. Do we believe it? Is it BS? Is it nonsense? I'll let you decide that once you hear the rumour. We're going to talk a little bit about Calafiori. We're going to talk about Kiwior. We're going to talk about a player linked with Arsenal that has been linked with Arsenal before. So we're going to be talking a little bit about Arsenal transfers today. So watch this space. Every single day at the moment, there's going to be rumours all around about Arsenal and all of the Premier League clubs. As the transfer window is open and it is starting to hot up, we are, of course, going to be talking about the rumours that come in every single day. I'll be back tomorrow morning as well, Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. Please make sure you hit the notification bell so you know when we are live. All the transfer news as you're driving to work, as you're waking up in the morning to start your day, or of course for those that work at home and just sit there and have their shower and their tea and toast listening to morning news. That is what that show is all about. So please make sure that you join me there at 8:30 tomorrow morning, where we talk all transfers across the Premier League, not just Arsenal. But tonight is an Arsenal show, which means we are going to talk Arsenal. And I have to start by bigging up Starboy. Bukayo Saka yesterday was phenomenal. This kid's played in every single position pretty much on the pitch, other than on goal. I love him. And I was so happy yesterday. Not just that he scored his penalty, because it was great. Very, very heroic, passionate, desire, resilience, bounce back ability. And I just love him. Everything about him. But I have to say this. I thought he was easily the man of the match. When you look at the stats, when you look at the eye test, when you look at everything on the pitch, Bukayo Saka was phenomenal. And I was quite surprised to see him as a right wing back. I have seen him as a left wing back, a left back, a right wing back, a right winger, a left winger, in an England shirt and an Arsenal shirt. And the kid don't complain, man. He just cracks on, gets his head down and works. And I've so much time for players like that. I thought Bukayo Saka proved yesterday why it is best to shut everybody up by just getting on with the game. You know, I know that Declan Rice and Saka were getting a lot of stick. Likewise, Foden, Bellingham, some of the other individuals that we were looking and pointing the finger at. That happens over the years. We've done it with Rooney, Beckham, Scholes, Terry, even Kane, I think, of late has got it. But when you look at it, right, let's be real. Rice shut everybody up with a man of the match performance. Saka shut everyone up with a man of the match performance. He's got over the penalty miss now by taking us through into a semi-final. And it was a fantastic goal as well, which is what we needed. We were crying out for somebody to just hit the damn thing. And that's what he does, man. So, yeah, let's see what happens with... Is he world-class, though? Does it matter? Who gives a damn? Bukayo Saka is balling out. So let's just enjoy it. That's enough on England and Bukayo Saka. I am going to start with Calafiori because obviously the news has broke that we are massively interested. And it looks as if we're very, very close to a move for Calafiori. Now, Fabrizio Romano has stated that there is a little bit of a difference in terms of what we want to be paying for him and what they want for him. However, the latest from AFC stuff on Fabrizio Romano on Calafiori is saying that Arsenal and Bologna almost have an understanding on a fee of around 50 million euros, which works out just over 42 million pounds. And now they need to clarify the structure of the deal, how much fixed and add-ons the payment terms will be. But we're entering into this week. Both clubs hope to get the deal done. Now, a lot of people might sit there and go, typical Arsenal, roll their eyes, Arteta and Edu, what you doing, X, Y, Z. But this thing does take time sometimes. The good thing is that he is accepted to want to come. The bad thing and the frustrating thing is we're still mucking around here with how much do we want to pay him up front, how many structured deals, what add-on fees, what are we talking about in terms of a structure. I think the bottom line is we're going to get this deal done. They're just literally talking about how much it's going to be up top and then up front and then, of course, adding the add-ons. Now, I think 40 or just over 40 million is a very good signing and a very good fair amount of money for all clubs involved. I think Bologna appreciate he wants to move at 22 years old. He's not going to be an amazing amount of money, but there's certainly going to be some form of potential or ceiling that he may hit. So which is why people are looking at this deal being much as it is. I think that is a good deal when you look at what West Ham have paid for Max Kilman. I think it's a good deal when you look at what other defenders have gone for, let's be real, in the past. This is a player who's highly rated and wanted across Europe, can play at left back, can play at left centre back. Now, I'll ask the question, where will he play on the title of this video? Because a lot of people are getting confused about where Calafiori might fit in at Arsenal. There's a lot of suggestions about where does that leave Zinchenko, Kiwior, Timber. We're going to come back to that in a minute. But Calafiori, for me, is going to be our left back this coming season. Now, people might not want to hear that because they like Timber, Zinchenko. They want Tini back in. They want to see Tomiyasu there, Kiwior. Let's just be real. Calafiori at the moment is looking like a left back. From what I can see in all of the video compilations, stills, highlights, he looks like a left back that is a ball playing left back that can easily look comfortable on the ball and can invert, that drops into the midfield, that has a brilliant range of passing, long and short range of passing, by the way, has clearly got some vision. And he's comfortable on the ball. So I think that's everything that Edu and Arteta want in their left back. I think they've looked at the position of left back last season and thought, this don't look right. We've played Kiwior there. We've played Tomiyasu there. We played Timber there till he got injured. We've played Zinchenko there. We've in the past played Tierney and Tavares there. They haven't been able to get a left back to hold down that position and go, that's our guy. Now, I think last season they wanted it to be Timber, but the ACL did nothing to help him in that. It doesn't mean he's never going to play there. And in fact, I think he can play there. I think what they're going to look at now is how fit is he going to be after 9 months of being out? And we need competition if he's not. So I think for me, when I look at the Timber situation and the Calafiori situation, I don't think either of those players should be panicking because I think they're both going to get a number of game time. Timber, if you are aware, can play over on the right-hand side, right centre-back, defensive midfield as well. So I don't think we need to be worrying too much about Jurrien Timber's future. He's a signing that's excited me, and Calafiori excites me also. So I think Calafiori playing in that left-back role with Saliba, Gabriel and Ben White is going to be one of the best defences in the league. And I think Arsenal already do have one of the best defences in the league. The stats don't lie. In the last couple of years, Arsenal have looked very solid. And I think this will just shore it up even more. So that's where I'm at. Now, there's absolutely no question that in 3-4 years' time, when Gabriel starts to touch 30 and Saliba and Calafiori are in their mid-20s, you might want to talk about a partnership happening at left back, left centre-back, and Saliba at right centre-back. That's absolutely fine to do that. But there's no way you're breaking up Gabriel and Saliba right now. And this is where people get very worried. I don't think we're looking at Gabriel right now thinking, yeah, I think he's probably time he's dropped him. The guy was our best defender last season. The partnership has been phenomenal. They complement each other. We're not going to disrupt that. Now, Calafiori can play there, and it might be that Gabriel gets a knock or something one time and he plays there, but I think he's going to be more of a left back. So that's where I'm at. Lots and lots of people rating him. Lots of people talking about Calafiori as a guy that everybody should be looking at and a guy that everybody should be interested in watching. I'm starting to do these compilation things now, which I must admit can be a little bit dangerous because you look at these players and think, oh, we've got a new Cannavaro, or was it Henry who said he's got Maldini vibes? That's very dangerous to do that. but we get excited, don't we? We start looking at a pass and think, oh, that's the best pass I've ever seen. So we need to calm down a little bit with it. But I must admit, the things I'm hearing, yeah, it's looking pretty good, man. Creeping up to 250 of you in the chat already, which is great, of course. But please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. If you have not done so already, please hit like and subscribe. It's absolutely free and it does so much for the channel. And I'm going to keep pushing for that because I don't do it enough. So please make sure that you hit those two things because they're absolutely free. Let's move to what that might mean for another player at Arsenal, shall we? Because today, Fabrizio Romano has suggested that Kiwior could be out of Arsenal. Now, the tweet he's got was an hour ago. It says that Jakub Kiwior could leave Arsenal in case of good proposal, with Calafiori joining or so close to joining. It understands that there's a possibility for a loan move for Jakub Kiwior, but only with a mandatory buy clause. The Italian clubs are keeping close eye on the situation, but there's no formal proposals yet. Now, I'd like to keep Kiwior because I do see a place for him in the squad. I actually look at Kiwior and think that you could be that left-sided centre-back, that would be able to slot in if Gabriel got injured. And that leaves Calafiori and Timber and, of course, Tomiyasu for the left-back situation. And we've still got Zinchenko. So I think Kiwior needs to stay at Arsenal, if I'm honest. What we are doing is we are replacing like for like. But we're replacing an upgrade on Kiwior, from what I can hear and understand. Calafiori is apparently better than Kiwior, which means we're definitely upgrading, but we're not adding to the numbers. We're just replacing. One sells, one signs. Now, as much as I don't mind that, I would like to see more because last season I wanted to keep Saka but upgrade on him with Declan Rice and another signing. We didn't do that. We just switched. We got Rice in and Saka went. Actually, Saka would have been really good for Arsenal last season to stay and Rice. So you've got Rice and Saka in them 8s, and then you've got Partey and Jorginho in the 6s and Rice that can play there as well. So I don't want to do that in the defence now as well and say, oh, who's our left-sided centre-back? Well, Calafiori can play there. Well, what about left-back? Yeah, he plays there as well. Timber can play there. Everybody can play everywhere. Let's have a best 11 and a second best 11. And then on top of that, you have, actually, those 4 players can actually play a few areas as well. What I don't want is to have an 11 and then 7 or 8 other players that can play a little bit of everywhere. So that's what I don't want with a squad of, say, 18, 19 players. I'd rather have a squad of 20 where I know what my first 11 is and I know what my next 11 is going to be. Yeah. And you get, obviously, that would make 22. So you get the 2 players out there that obviously aren't going to make it. And for me, then you say, actually, do you know what? I know Tomiyasu is actually our right back, but he can play left back as well. I know that Timber is our backup left back, but he can play right back as well. I know Trossard is our backup left winger or our starter left winger, but he can also play on the right and in the middle. That's what I need to be seeing. Not, oh, he kind of hasn't really got a position, but he just plays a bit of everywhere. And that's my biggest frustration, I suppose, is that we've got players that I still don't really know their position, like Fabio Vieira, even Smith-Rowe to a certain degree. You're definitely a left winger. You can play over there, but you're definitely coming in on the left. Or you're definitely a central midfielder. You can probably go attack-minded, but you're definitely more of a box-to-box. That's what I need to see. So I don't know what we're going to get in central defence. I don't know if we're still going to go there. I think Calafiori will probably be the only one that we do sign. I expect to see Tierney leave. I expect to see Tavares leave. Cedric has obviously already left the club. So where does that leave us in defence? Well, Ben White is our right back, and Timber and Tomiyasu can cover. I think Calafiori will be the left back, and Timber and Tomiyasu can cover. I think at centre-back, we've got Saliba and Gabriel, and Calafiori and Timber can cover. So really, we've got a few players there that are covering. Now, I know that we've got enough cover for everybody to have a position filled, but do we actually have the first team and the second team string? No, because all it takes now is 2 injuries, and then you're like, yeah, but we've got him covering. Yeah, but he's already over at left-back. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Who's the right-back cover then? Well, we ain't got any because he's playing at left-back. That's what I'm worried about. And that's what happened 2 years ago when Saliba and Tomiyasu both got injured together. We had to play Rob Holding because there was no right back to allow Ben White to go in the centre, and there was no centre back to allow Ben White to stay at right back to go 6. So we had to play Rob Holding. So this is where I'm at. Now, I might be worried about nothing. 1, we might not get no injuries at all. And 2, you might say, do you know what? We can play Ben White in the middle and Timber can go right back and we're all happy days. Maybe that's the way it is. But I would like, because what Man City do is this, I would like to have somebody to come in and we know they're playing there. Now, Man City have actually got some versatility in their defence as well, but you kind of know who's going to play where. So Arsenal need to get to that stage. So that's where I'm at. Kiwior, I don't know what money we'd get for him. I have absolutely no idea. I think we paid 20 million for him. And if the Italian teams are looking at him, I think we'd look to try and get as much as we can back of that. I think anything from 20 to 25 million, we'd say yes to. And if it was a loan with an obligation to buy of that, I think we'd still say yes to that as well. Jacob Kiwior had rumours and murmurs that in January he wanted to kind of look at a move for a first-team football opportunity. I'm not sure he's going to get first-team football at Arsenal, so I can understand why he potentially wants to move. So watch this space on that one. That one will be interesting. Now, the Calafiori situation is done. Jacob Kiwior we have mentioned. Now let's talk a little bit about a crazy rumour that I heard today, including a swap deal for Eddie Nketiah. Now, Eddie Nketiah is a player that's definitely not wanted at Arsenal. He's a player that I believe is getting a lot of interest from Fulham, Palace, Wolves, and clubs like that. But the player that we're looking at and we're talking about swapping Nketiah with is Rafinha over at Barcelona. Now, I will be absolutely stunned if this happens. Not because I think Rafinha won't leave Barcelona. I think there's potential for that to happen. But are you telling me that Eddie Nketiah and Barcelona are compatible? Are you thinking really that Barcelona would be happy to have a swap deal plus cash with Eddie Nketiah for Rafinha? That for me is absolute mad. Like, I mean, seriously, fair play to him if he ever has dreams of playing over in La Liga, Eddie Nketiah. But he ain't getting first team football at Barcelona. So for me, I would rather go and stay in England, find a London club like Palace or maybe Fulham and go and play first team football over there because he ain't getting anywhere near that Barcelona first team. Let me tell you that right now. So that one sounds mad. Now, this is like saying, I don't know, playing FIFA or Football Manager and trying to see what they'd say to that. I don't know that there's much truth in this rumour. It came out, broke today. I heard it on AFTV. Robbie was talking about it. I think Tom Mayer mentioned it. There's a couple of others today that have mentioned it. And I thought, I've got to read into this. What is all this about? A swap deal for Eddie Nketiah for Rafinha and Barcelona. I mean, that is a madness. That cannot be real. That cannot be real. So I think the rumours will get squashed. I really do. I cannot for the life of me believe that that would be an opportunity that Barcelona would want to take. If they do, let's get in there quick and do it. Let me tell you that. Because if this happens, Edu, fair play to you, brother. Fair play to you. Now, apparently, Rafinha is wanting to move on. They're looking at getting Nico Williams, so they need to raise some funds. I think the Nico Williams release clause is £49 million. And they want 45 million, I think, for Rafinha. Does anybody want Rafinha? He's 27 years old. He is a player who's known by the Premier League very well. He's a player the Premier League know through Leeds, time at Leeds. I really liked him. I think he'd be fantastic cover for Bukayo Saka, but he would not be in my top three. My top three would be one of the players we mentioned already in Nico Williams, and my other two would be Eze and Pedro Neto. They're the guys that I'm looking at. Now, if I was to pick a wild one out there, it would be potentially... I don't know what. I'll come back to that, actually. I'll come back to the wild one because there are rumours that haven't gone away in that respect. But this one, I just don't see happening, if I'm honest with you. I just really do not see it happening. Let's see where it's come from. It's come from the London Evening Standard. It's come from Caught Offside. It's come from 442. And it's come from Just Arsenal News. None of those, without being disrespectful, in my opinion, are incredibly reliable sources. So I don't know where this has come from. But for me, if there's a chance of getting a swap deal with Eddie for Rafinha, you take it 100%. I think there's more opportunity and there's more likelihood of Eddie going to a Premier League club for around about £25 million. That's what I think we'll probably get with some add-ons. Now, when you look at Elliot Anderson going for 35 million, to me, we should try and be getting at least that for Eddie Nketiah now. So maybe it might be that we look at getting more closer to a £40 million fee for Eddie Nketiah. But is anyone going to pay that, really? I mean, I wouldn't if I was Fulham or West Ham or Palace, but maybe they're desperate for a striker. Let's see. They're not getting an absolute shambolic player, by the way. They're getting a player who's decent, but he's just not that level that Arsenal need. So let's see where we're at with that one. So that one's going to be interesting. The other link, of course, is Pedro Neto. Now, I'm a big fan of Pedro Neto. I really am. I've been very, 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 very keen on this being a signing that Arsenal are looking at. And there's rumours a couple of days ago on Team Talk that Arsenal were preparing to hold talks for the electric winger, as they call him, at Wolves, Pedro Neto. But over the last few hours, Tottenham are actually favourites to come in for this. Now, Tottenham are looking to make a fresh approach to sign Pedro Neto, according to the hardtackle.com. Football London are saying there are 5 transfers that Tottenham are looking to complete, and Pedro Neto is one of them. Give Me Sport are saying that Tottenham have made new inquiries over a deal for a £60 million Pedro Neto, and Caught Offside are also stating that Spurs are wanting to know the Premier League club's stance on the 60 million rated ace before they go into him. Now, I think that what that means is that there's some problems over Neto's injury. A lot of people are talking about Neto being injury prone. Totally agree. He is. And I think that Wolves trying to play him for 40 games a season is not something that he is able to do. I don't know why. He's a young player. He's not 30, but he's not. Tottenham are actually linked with some good players. Tottenham are linked with Tony today. Tottenham are linked with Eze. Tottenham are linked with Pedro Neto. On top of the fact they've signed Archie Gray and this new winger, who's the Norwegian winger, is it? Or Swedish winger? I can't remember his name now. The youngster that he got bought in January. So watch this space with Spurs. If they start signing players like that, they could quite easily get Champions League football and look to go to the next level next season. If, of course, things go well for Tottenham, which they don't usually tend to, which is always quite funny. So watch this space on that one. Pedro Neto, I think, would probably prefer a move to Arsenal. But having said that, he's guaranteed first-team football at Spurs and he's not at Arsenal. But I do think that he's going to be playing at least 15, 20 games at Arsenal if he does come here, because Bukayo Saka needs rest. We've seen already Bukayo Saka playing every minute of the England games. We've seen them go to extra time already twice. They've got another 2 games minimum. It may be that they both go to extra time as well. So he's then going to come to a pre-season and need some rest. So we're going to have to get somebody in. Now, let me give you my shout that might not be a wild take, or it might be one out there. I was going to say it earlier, but I'll bring it up now. There was a TikTok going around about the rumor, wasn't there, about Arsenal being linked with a Germany player. There was a TikTok, I think a couple of people had said about, it's going to be an Arsenal player who's coming to Germany. There's a guy on the phone saying, yep, he's coming to Arsenal. He's a German player, blah, blah, blah. And people were saying that it's, Joshua Kimmich, or it's going to be Musiala. Everyone was throwing names, absolute names. And if that is going to be true, because there's a lot of people that have spoken to me, my end, saying, yeah, we're definitely looking at somebody from Germany. Well, it might speed up pretty quickly now then, because Germany are out, right? Germany are out. So it looks as if this is going to be a rumor that won't go away, or someone will heavily rumor. Or if you actually believe that rumor, then trust me, trust me, it will happen in the coming days. But you know who I think it could be? If this is true, it could be Joshua Kimmich, because we're linked with him. But I would not be surprised if it was Leroy Sané. Hear me out. They bought Elise. Doesn't look like Gnabry's going. They're looking to freshen things up. They bought Xavi Simons, who can play wide and attacking mid. Leroy Sané is obsessed with Mikel Arteta. Mikel Arteta is obsessed with Leroy Sané. And we need a winger that can play on both sides. Now, he tore Kiwior, an absolute new one, playing on the right-hand side. He was really good on the left-hand side for Man City. He's Premier League proven. A lot of people would think that Man City would be very interested if he was to become available. But let's see where we're at with this one. I don't think Bayern Munich would ask for an unbelievable amount of money. I don't think he'd cost 80, 90, 100 million. I think you'd probably have to play 50, 60, maybe a bit more. But I think that would be a very, very good signing. Very good signing, in fact. And with German international, Premier League proven, Champions League experience, winning trophies over in Germany, I think it would be a perfect fit. Really would. So watch the space on this one, man. Watch the space on this one. Let's see what happens. Big up to Igal, man. I have got your message, bro, so I will do as you ask. Send me the link you want me on to talk. You want me on to talk. If you want me on to talk, I guess he means. Bro, of course I can send you the link, Igal. Absolutely, I can send you the link if you would like to jump on. But, bro, I will definitely redirect you after this one. Listen, I think it's going to be an interesting window for Arsenal. I don't know where we're at in terms of our attack-minded players. I don't know if we're in a scenario where We're going to be linked with everyone under the sun. I think the good thing I will say about this, actually, right? The one thing I will say about this is that we are linked with players who are in the right positions. Now, you know, when like under Wenger, we were linked before. Let me just send this link to Igal. Apologies. When we were under the Wenger era, we used to be like linked with a left back when we really didn't need one, or we'd need a central midfielder and we'd go and buy another left winger. That used to frustrate the hell out of me. Like I used to be really frustrated by our lack of. Igal, I've sent you the link if you're still here, if you're still watching. That used to really frustrate me. Now, when I look at who Arsenal are linked with, we're linked with goalkeepers. Well, we're going to be. There's rumours that Ramsdale might be out, right, or might be off. We're linked with defenders, Calafiori being one of them. That's fair because I think we all all know that we need somebody that's going to come in, another body. We're linked with midfielders. Now, I'd rather be linked with some more midfielders, if I'm honest, but it's early days. But that's clear because our midfield is probably the most priority area. It probably needs revamping. It probably needs surgery. You've got to be looking at the likes of Jorginho and Partey, knowing they're not going to be here forever. Declan Rice is the only one that we've really got in a box-to-box role. And then up top, there's potential for us to look at strikers who we're linked with. Wide men, we're linked with. This is good. What I don't want is for us to be linked with more another centre back in the mould of a Saliba or another right back when we don't actually need one. So what I want to look at is players that actually you think, you know what, they can come straight in. So I quite like that about this new regime. That's one thing I will say. Big up to Igal, man. Let's bring Igal on. What are you telling me, bruv? You good?
I'm good, man. How come you didn't show up to Never Felt Barbecue, man? I'm pretty sure Kaz and Dabs probably invited you. It would have been nice to see
Yeah,
you.
I was busy. Apologies, man. Do you know what? I felt bad because I couldn't come to the last one, and I had other commitments with family that I couldn't get out of, bro. So apologies. I hope you enjoyed it.
Nah, it
Um,
was nice, man. But main reason why I came on,
Go on, man.
please tell me you're not one of these people who are losing their mind that we haven't signed a player yet.
No. Early days, man. Early days.
There you
Who
go.
has signed players other than Mbappe to Real
Nobody.
Madrid? Yeah, exactly.
Nobody.
No. I'm not one of them. A lot of people are. What are we waiting for? Blah blah blah. Listen, until the until the Euros is over and the Copa America's over, I don't see much happening, bro. I don't know about you. Talk to me, man. How have you been? I haven't seen you for ages.
I'm good, man. I'm just waiting for David Ornstein or somebody to finally tell us we've gotten our first signing over the line. Arsenal transfer news for as long as I've been covering it. This this seems like this seems like the norm at times that we do take later on to do our business. But if you look over the years, Lacazette was early. We did Jesus a little bit earlier than this before. We've signed players earlier before, but I remember there was windows where we only had Martinelli at this point of the season transfer window. So it's like
Yeah.
it's hit or miss depending on what we need, but we don't need as much as we used to. I know people are going to tell you we need 4 or 5 signings, but really and truly, if we can improve some of the players we currently have in our squad, like the Martinellis, like the Bukayo Sakas, I'm not talking about Eddie Nketiah and Reece Nelson, guys, so don't worry. Um, so just like some of the fringe first team players, and we can maybe move off Emma Smith-Rowe. You've seen the bid. Apparently, Fulham are going to come in with another
Oh,
bid
do you know
very
what?
soon.
I was going to come to this because I've covered everything apart from 2 stories that I've heard today.
What was the
Um,
story that intrigued you the most, where you might have a hot take on? Because unfortunately, I wasn't watching
mm,
from the beginning. So
no, it's fine. There's 2 that I was going to leave to. Well, okay. So the hot take was Leroy Sané because
you know
there's
that
this link with Germany. Go on.
the mystery German might actually be some no-name guy.
Well, okay, so I was going to ask you on this because my friend said this. It's like I said, what if it happens to be like Jonathan Tarr or like Nicolas Sule or something like that? Everyone's gonna be like, oh, what? Or someone we've never heard of, right? Why would that be like a big secret they'd keep close to
I
their
heard
chest?
it's Maximilia Bremen.
Who?
That's that exactly. So he's a 21-year-old that plays for Hoffenheim, who's a center forward. Chelsea were previously linked to him also. So I don't believe that this could be the mystery German, but it he doesn't even play for the German first team, if I'm not mistaken. Like, what are they talking about when they say mystery German? I'd be expecting them to say somebody who played. Technically, he did play in the Euros. He played one match, but He's not
It's this
really
guy,
like a staple.
apparently. Maximilian Bier. I've never heard of him.
I see it. Basically, I seen a tweet about it. I can send you the tweet if you want to show it on screen.
Yeah, go for it, man. Go for it. It's
Let me go
crazy.
find
Like
it.
that, this is the thing. Yeah, I'm saying Kimmich or Sane, and it could be this dude I've never heard of. Like, it's mad.
Sane makes the most sense for me because we need another person who stretches the defense. We don't have too many of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and I was really impressed with Sane, man. When Sane played against us at the Emirates, I was like, wow, he's like
But you
absolutely
know,
killing.
Bayern fans don't like him. Before that series, before that tie, they were telling me he was terrible.
I don't think he had a very good season, if I'm honest. I really don't. I don't think he did have
Yeah.
a very good season, from what I hear. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, man. But let's talk about when you send me the. Oh, have you got the? Yeah, you've got it on. You just sent it to
Bukayo
me,
Saka, by the way, silencing the haters. I absolutely loved
bro.
it.
Bro,
Being
I
around
told you.
rivals yesterday, I can tell you when he scored his goal, they didn't give a shit that he was an Arsenal player. They were just loving life that somebody equalized for England. And all those people who were saying he should be on the bench, he should play left back, he should do this, he should do that. You see when he's on his right foot, I mean when he's on his left foot from that right flank, how dangerous he is.
Bro, he was phenomenal. Like phenomenal. I've been so impressed with him, and I just love the fact that we've got this guy to shut them up. Do you know what I'm saying? Like he's shut people up. People will now still start saying, yeah, but he's still not world class. I'm kind of sick of that, man, if I'm honest. I don't care if you think he is or
Him and
isn't world
Saliba,
class.
you have to classify them as world class now.
See, okay, let me ask you this. Do Saliba and Saka have to win a trophy and contribute to their team winning that trophy before they're considered world class?
Harry Kane didn't have to win anything before people called him world class.
It's a great comeback. It's a great point.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of players who are announced as one of the best in their position or one of the best in the world way before they accomplish any individual accolades or team accolades. Really and truly, we're talking about a team sport, but individuals on certain teams have an advantage to win trophies where other people, they are in a team that's not necessarily there yet, and they're one of the main pillars to that team. If you're telling me that a Man City player that's part of a great 11 is a world-class player because his team wins trophies after trophies, but a pillar of a great team like Saka or Saliba is not that guy yet because he hasn't won a major honor. It's just like, for example, Akanji or Saliba. Can we all admit Akanji's a great player, but his trophies at Man City don't make him world class. But Saliba's ability and quality that he's shown throughout all these seasons, you can argue he's one of the best center backs in the world without having any major silverware. That's just an example right there. Maybe it's flawed. Some people would have an issue with any example you give, but I think that's probably the best example I can give you right now.
See, my definition of world class might be different to other people's. But when people say to me the definition of world class, nobody can actually explain what the definition is. Everyone has a different interpreter. Go on.
Mine is top 5 in your position.
Okay, so mine is slightly different. Mine is would walk into any team, any top team, and make them better. So
you're saying
William
top
Saliba,
2?
huh?
Would it have to be top 3, top 2, or 1?
I don't know if there's a top 3, top 5, top 10. If you think that player could walk into any team at the top level of sport and make them better, then I would say they're world class. So if you think Harry Kane can walk into any team in the world and make them better, he's world class, and I think he is. He could. Saliba,
is Van Dijk world class?
Yeah, I think he probably still is. If I'm honest,
I don't think he walks into Arsenal.
I love Gabriel, so I'm probably going to be biased and say no. Van Dijk maybe is going towards the decline of a footballer, though, isn't he? Like he was unreal for like what 5 years? Would you say?
No, but then I just stumped you right there. You broke your own rule. You called somebody world class that doesn't get into an 11.
So maybe he isn't then. Maybe Van Dijk isn't anymore. But I would have said that he was like easily. He would have got in ahead of Gabriel. Like
the reason why it's tough because you can have multiple world class players in a single position. For example, Mo Salah and Messi, both world class. But in a world 11, you're not going to squeeze both of them into it.
Well, you'd have to play Messi 10 and Salah wide right.
Okay, another example. How many world class strikers are out there?
Probably
Kylian Mbappe, Haaland.
Two or three. Haaland, Mbappe, and Kane.
Okay, you can't put all three of them in the world's best 11. So one of them is not world class.
Yeah, no. So my thing is, so I think you've misunderstood what I'm saying. So it doesn't mean that there's only one or two in the world. It means if that player cannot walk into the side and be or make them better, they wouldn't be considered world class. So that's what I'm trying to get at. Because some people will say to me, "Oh yeah, you have to be top three in your position or top five in your position." So, okay, so if you say it's top three and you say the top three strikers are, as you've just mentioned, them three, the fourth one isn't world class then. Like, why is the fourth one not? Okay, it's the top five. Why is the sixth one not world class then? Do you know what I'm saying? So there's always a debate about it, Gal. There's always so you think those five right wingers are the best or all world class, but what about the sixth one? Why is he not world class? Just see what I'm saying? So I think the definition is flawed. I don't think there is one. I don't think there is a definition of who's world class. But listen, if you call Saka and Saliba world class, we can debate it. If you want to call Martin Odegaard world class, you can debate it. For me, I was really impressed with Saka yesterday, man. Listen, I wanted to move to this news because I know you don't have too long, man. Because where is it? Fulham making a new bid or wanting to make a new bid for Emil
Bro, I
Smith-Rowe.
can change my show time to 8. No problem. Continue as long as you want.
Okay, cool. We'll go for a few minutes then. So the player's happy to stay and fight for his place, according to AFC stuff. I don't know how much you follow these people, but Fulham are sticking to the chase and they won't take no for an answer. Arsenal are willing to sell at the right price. So, Miguel, what is the right price for Emil Smith-Rowe?
Club record, anything over 36 million.
Do you think we can get that?
We would need to get anything over 36 million for Emil Smith-Rowe. It could be 36 million. It could be more than that. But I think he is warranting of a record fee. He is still a very young player, and you're signing the potential. You're not only signing Emil Smith-Rowe, you're also signing the potential of a homegrown talent becoming even better. We've seen him already hit double digits in the league, and I've seen players that haven't even scored 10 goals in their career get more than £40 million transfer fees. So Dan, based on that alone, Arsenal should be able to get a little bit more now from a signing like this than we were in the past. I love
So let
Emil
me
Smith-Rowe.
throw this at you, right? Because Elliot Anderson went from Newcastle to Nottingham Forest for £35 million. Now I
And who's
understand
that?
you've got exactly. He's played a few games in the Champions League and a few games in the Premier League. Emil Smith-Rowe was one of Arsenal's best players 2 years ago, whether you like it or not. I understand his injury problems and he doesn't get in the first team now. So when I said earlier, and probably a few months ago now, I would probably accept 35 million and above. Maybe I'd probably want more than that now. If Elliot Anderson goes for 35 million, I'm wanting at least 40 something for Smith-Rowe. And likewise, Eddie Nketiah. Because Eddie Nketiah, as much as we laugh, has actually scored goals in the Premier League. Elliot Anderson has not.
Bro, there's going to be a bidding war for Eddie Nketiah.
What can we get for him?
Call me crazy. We could get another. He's another player. Eddie Nketiah should not be sold for anything less than 35 plus. We should be able to garner some decent wages. I'm thinking 40, because if Brentford, Fulham, Crystal Palace, West Ham, and Wolves have all been interested in the player, and he's been able to have the performances that he's had in the league, in the Europa League, I'm telling you, there's somebody out there that's going to look at him and say, you know what, we could work with that. It's just Arsenal, we are not that good at selling players because we have never had marketable or players who actually people are interested in. Best believe right now, if we sold Saliba or Saka, everyone would be paying record fees for them, but we're not selling those guys. The guys that we're trying to sell are lower down in our team, in our pecking order. Kiwior and Emil Smith-Rowe are our best hopes to break the record, Arsenal's record sales this summer.
Wow. Interesting, man. Interesting.
Do you disagree?
No. I'm just saying it's a good point. And I do agree with you. I think we've got an unbelievable chance of breaking this record. And when people say breaking this record, it ain't bloody hard to do because we're crap at selling players. Like, you think breaking a record, wow, Arsenal have sold someone for 65 million. No, we're not going to. We're going to sell someone potentially for 36 or 38, and it's going to be a record deal that we'd sign. Now, I know Iwobi and Oxlade-Chamberlain and Willock, they all could have gone on past that, but the add-ons didn't actually get to that stage. I mean, Iwobi was sold to Fulham, and I think Willock just hasn't really played enough due to injuries from Newcastle, so the add-ons hasn't really hit yet. And it still could, to be fair, from Willock's point of view. But I think we can sell Emil Smith-Rowe and Eddie Nketiah for money. I personally would prefer to see Fabio Vieira leave than Emil Smith-Rowe. if we had to
But
keep
it's
one of
about
them.
need. Nobody needs Fabio Vieira right now. People are looking at Emil Smith-Rowe and they're
Exactly.
saying, "I
Well,
want
we don't
him."
need him. We don't bloody need him. We might be stuck with him.
No, but you can't look at it that way because what Emil Smith-Rowe right now, we can garner maybe 30 to 40 million for him. Fabio Vieira right now, if we try to put him on the market, maybe 5 to 10. If we keep Fabio Vieira for another year and maybe he gets a couple games here and there, or maybe we send him on loan, we can maybe get more money. But Emil Smith-Rowe right now, we can make pure profit off of. Some people are saying keep Emil Smith-Rowe and sell Fabio Vieira. It's about the demand. There's a higher demand for an English player who's previously been one of our best players, where Fabio Vieira has never shown that.
I don't think Fabio. I think Fabio Vieira has been actually the worst or one of the worst signings that Arteta and Edu have made because of how much it was for.
He hasn't been really given an opportunity to play as much as we would
Oh,
like.
come on, Gal. No, he has. He has it, Gal. He's been poor, but he's come on. He hasn't done much, bro.
Bro, his first start was amazing versus Brentford, and then he's also played well in the Europa League. I was there when he was playing in some of those Europa League home games. He played well. The injury happened last year. He didn't get much of an opportunity. And when you're in a title race, Dan, you don't have opportunities to risk it playing players who back into fitness. So I understand why Mikel Arteta did not play him.
I just don't think he's good enough.
Based on a couple games, I thought he was amazing at the start of last season. You were probably heaping his praises at the beginning of last season.
No, I wasn't heaping his praises. I said he contributed well when he came on from the bench when he got 2 assists, and I didn't see him do anything else for the rest of the season.
But he got injured, Dan.
Yeah, and then when he did come back, Arteta didn't trust him.
Why would you, Dan? Would you trust your best friend if they came back from an injury to play a game of football with you?
Mate, he was. So what? When's he going to get good then? Tell me.
I think when players come back from injury and you're in a title race and you need to win every game, it's criminal if you put them out there to fail. Mikel Arteta did the right thing not playing him.
So
Also,
you think he deserves another season?
I think next season we can definitely see more out of him. And if he doesn't start well, come January we loan him out and we sell him next summer.
Well, listen, I'm going to stop you there because there is some breaking news from David Ornstein that Arsenal are interested in a goalkeeper, and Arsenal's goalkeeper is going to be Dan Bentley. Dan Bentley is 30 years old. He is the Wolves goalkeeper that is back up. He is a homegrown, great character, identified as Arsenal as a backup option, a great character and homegrown. Wolves would only sell if a suitable bid lands so they can reinvest. This is coming from Ornstein, The Athletic. Is literally just broke, and it came from AFC stuff 9 hours ago. Arsenal were trying to sign goalkeeper Dan
I was
Bentley
waiting
from
for.
Wolves. Mate, it's crazy. And I told people about this goalkeeper situation. I would rather keep Aaron Ramsdale than have Dan Bentley as our backup goalkeeper.
1 second. From what I've heard, Dan Bentley's coming in to be the third option. Based on the fact that Karl Hein has been given a new deal and he's going to be sent out on loan. So I don't want us freaking out.
Well, I'm not freaking out. I just think it's a weird one. Like if he comes in as third choice, that's cool. Like if that's what it's all about, if that's what people are looking at being third choice, then cool. But this is what we're seeing at the moment. So yeah.
We got the David Ornstein bomb.
The Ornstein bomb.
We got the Ornstein bomb, but it was not the one we were looking for. That's the problem.
Do you know what? The AFC stuff actually did say that it was a potential third goalkeeper. That is what I saw it from actually, Gal. So I was with you there. But yeah, third choice. I mean, Ramsdale's going to go though, right?
To who?
That's a good question. I said
nobody seems to be interested in paying money.
I said this to judges. Like, if we don't get £30 million for him at least, then I'll just keep him.
We messed up. We should have sold him when we knew we were not going to play him. Arteta and the people in charge, they made a mistake making him devaluing him. But at the same time, they didn't know if David Raya was going to guarantee take the starting spot at the time. So it's a tough place to put yourself in. This is why having two good keepers can actually be a negative.
Yeah, and I liked the signing of David Raya when we had Ramsdale was number one, and I thought they could have fought it out. I thought Raya could have tried and pushed him way in there. I don't like the way Arteta dealt with it, but we've been over that so many times. But I'm real with you right now. If nobody's offering me 30 million plus for Aaron Ramsdale, he's staying at Arsenal. And I'll tell you why. We signed him, Miguel, from Sheffield United for about 25, 26 million pounds 2 years ago, and he's in a relegation battle. Since then, he's been in 2 title races, Premier League team of the season, and is a goalkeeper that's still young, English, and has potential. So for me, if nobody's going to be paying 30 million pounds for him, I'm keeping him as the backup, bro.
But you do realize that doesn't necessarily benefit the team if the player wants to leave.
No, if he's unsettled, he's got to go. But where's he going to go to? Because we might have to. If he says, "I'm going," no, don't keep me. I'm going. We're going to have to take a bloody cut on him and go right. He's 18 million to bloody Wolves or something. I don't know. Whoever wants him.
Hopefully Chelsea come back in and we can just send his ass to Chelsea.
Do you know what? Chelsea's the only one, but Chelsea are going to go for someone like Costa or someone mad, aren't they?
Bro,
You know
Chelsea. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if they went back in for him. Would you?
Really?
No, I wouldn't.
I mean, I wouldn't. No, but
their fans would be upset, and it would make me laugh because he would actually.
It would make me laugh, but I think he'd do well at Chelsea. This Maresca dude, he wants to play Sanchez apparently.
I don't know, man. We could spend a whole video on Chelsea just laughing and making jokes about them. But right now, I have a feeling that they are going to surprise people next year.
I don't know, man.
I have a feeling they could surprise people. They could.
Well,
with a new manager, with other people potentially still also in a situation where they're rebuilding. Chelsea could surprise people next year, and even if they're in a top 4 battle, people might be surprised. So that's the bar I'm putting on them.
Well, listen, let's stick to the goalkeeper thing before as we come to a close.
Oh yeah, Dave, if he's third choice, I'm happy. If he's homegrown, you know what it is? He's our Scott Carson.
Yeah, you're probably right.
He's our Scott Carson.
I remember he was at Southend and he was really highly rated, and then he got a move away from Southend. Then he ended up at Wolves, and he hasn't really played. So maybe he is going to be one of those Scott Carson, Richard Wright type signings that we just have as a 30-year-old. He'll be with us for 10 years, maybe, like as a kind of third choice. He's just happy.
But everyone's going to be saying Edu out, going crazy right now.
Yeah, but that's because they don't. That's because they don't know that that he is third choice. Listen, if he isn't third choice, it is a very strange backup goalkeeper decision because that's a downgrade on Ramsdale. But if you're saying it's a third choice, then fair play. Aaron believes Carl Hein is the third choice, and he's coming as a second. But you said Carl Hein might be going.
Yeah, Carl Hein might be.
I mean, I hope so because that Carl Hein is rubbish, mate. He is absolutely terrible. So he needs to go.
He was good at a penalty shootout that one time in Dubai.
Yeah, but come on, man. Like we've had some dodgy goalkeepers. In fact, let me ask you what you would like to see happening in goal because this will be the 8th goalkeeper that we've had, Dan Bedley.
David Raya, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Keep him.
Okay, well, I'm talking about what you would do this with this transfer window. If Dan Bentley's going to come in as the third choice, Ramsdale's leaving, who are you bringing in as the second choice?
Go since Dan Burns and Raya are both homegrown. Go get some like Spanish or French keeper from that league over there that's willing to make the jump to Arsenal and be patient for their opportunity.
Would you not take a experienced goalkeeper as backup though, like Kasper Schmeichel or Wojciech Szczesny?
Why would they come? Why would they come to Arsenal knowing that their wages don't align with a backup? Szczesny, the reason why Arsenal were linked to him was because he would potentially be interested in coming back, but he would not be looking for a pay decrease. He's currently, what is he making on Juventus? I don't know. But anybody who makes a move at this late in their career, they're not going to look for a pay decrease unless they're like a Scott Carson or something like that. You know who would come to Arsenal? I could see potentially like somebody like Fabianski if he wanted to end his career coming back to Arsenal. But I don't think that's a good choice for backup. You want somebody who can play with their feet as a backup.
He's like 40, isn't he, Fabianski?
Yeah, you want somebody who can play with their feet as their backup. I was just saying it as a thing. I'm not actually linking it.
Well, listen, I don't know who we get, but it needs to be, if it's not
he's going to end up being Spanish because all these Spanish keepers playing with their feet. You know, we were already linked to one.
Who?
We were linked to this guy. Let me see if I can find it, if I can find the name. We were linked to this Spanish keeper, but they're throwing around some crazy price tags. They're throwing around some crazy price tags, saying that in order for Arsenal to get him, it could cost like 20 something million for a backup keeper. And I'm like, I don't know if Arsenal's going to drop that kind of money on a backup keeper, especially if we're not even getting that kind of money for Ramsdale right now. Why would we sell
Yeah,
Ramsdale and then spend almost around the same money to get his backup? It would be stupid. You're right.
yeah, I'm with you, man. But listen, it's an interesting one
It's this
in goal.
guy, Joao Garcia from Espanyol.
Random guy has just put Espanol in there. I thought it would be the Espanol guy. Yeah, no, not heard of him. See what he's like, if that's the potential. It's going to be someone like that, isn't it? We've been linked with Justin Bilo, been linked with bloody Jason Steele. We've been linked with, obviously, Chesney. David De Gea was mentioned because he's a free transfer still, but that's going to be
You know,
wages.
half of the Premier
Yeah,
League goalkeepers are former Arsenal goalkeepers. When you really think about it, we're like a revolving door of goalkeepers
yeah, we are.
ever
And if
since.
Ramsdale goes as well, there'll be another one.
Yeah, if you need a goalkeeper in your Premier League team, you should come to Arsenal because we've given out some of the best goalkeepers in the league. Fabianski, you go to Leno, was one of the best goalkeepers. Martinez, how could I forget about him? Who else? I feel like there's more.
Yeah, there is more. What's his name from? If you're going back in time, Richard Wright. He was at Arsenal. Malix Maninga. There's been some others that have played Premier League football that were all Arsenal goalkeepers. Stuart Taylor. We're going back now to Highbury days, but in the Emirates era, you're right. There's been Leno, there's been Martinez, there's been Ramsdale.
If you need a goalkeeper, just come to Arsenal. We'll give you one.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. We should have kept
But
Martinez, in my opinion.
it,
We should have kept Temi Martinez.
you
But
know
at the
what could
start,
happen though? If Newcastle were to sell anybody to Arsenal, Ramsdale could be like a swap deal. Also, if late in the window there's a situation where somebody needs a goalkeeper, Ramsdale's always there as an option. But worst case scenario, he's under contract for 4 years, so he still has 3 years left on his deal. We could sell him at any time later down the line and still make decent money. He's very young. I'm not too concerned about the Ramsdale situation. I don't think he's the kind of guy to be negatively affected because he still made the England team, even though he wasn't starting.
okay, interesting. Okay, that's goalkeepers. I'll tell you what I'll do to close. I'll go through each department, and I'm not talking about specific positions. I'm just talking about the defence, the midfield, and the wide players and the strikers. A lot of people are saying we need one in each of those positions. I would agree with that, Igal. So talk to me what you do, man. Go through your kind of window and some of the players you'd be interested in looking at. Defensively, obviously, it looks like it's going to be Calafiori. So I'll get your thoughts on that one. And then talk to me about what you'd like to see happen position-wise that we'd strengthen in midfield, wide, and up top.
Yeah, you know what? We all went from not knowing Calafiori to being experts about him in a matter of minutes. So it's crazy. It does remind me of what do you call it? The World Cup tax or Euros tax, but I'm hoping that he comes in and he's quality. So I would put Calafiori on that list as he does look like a really promising left back, and that would also solve our center back situation because he can also play as a really good left-sided center back. He's left-footed. We need a left eight who also preferably is left-footed. I'm not exactly sure who we bring in that situation, but if I'm gonna see the links that we're linked to some random guy in Spain who coincidentally just scored in the quarterfinals for Spain, Mikel Moreno. He's not my first choice, but it sounds like a realistic signing, Mikel Moreno. If I could get preferentially who I would want to go for. Call me crazy. I would want to go for that Fofana guy that plays for
100%.
Monaco.
That's who I want. That's who I
Yeah, I
want.
would go for Fofana at Monaco, and that would give us enough money to then go for another midfielder since he was only 20 million, and I would spend another 40 million on that guy from Spain, Michael Moreno. So that's two midfielders for 60 million instead of going and spending 60 million or 90 million on Bruno G by himself. And I think that would be quality squad depth. And now we're signing another 6 and we're signing an 8 within the same window. So that's 3 players already signed for a total of 110 million. If you look at the price tags and their valuations, being 50 million for Calafiori, 60, another 60, which is split 20-40 for for those guys. Now I'm becoming a calculator. Let's get back to the players. Winger. The winger that I think we would actually get is Eze, and Eze would solve two issues. He would play as a 10 and he would play as a winger. So get Eze, spend 60 million on Eze. Don't be afraid to spend the money. Premier League experience benefits us massively. Nico Williams not going to happen. He's going to go to Barcelona. Sane might not happen. And even if it did, he's an older player with not a lot of scope to grow, and he's not able to play as a 10. He can play as a on both wings, but we have so many left wingers. Why not get a winger that can actually play as a 10 that would
I'd love
easily
Eze. I'd
and
love Eze.
he would
Let me
be
throw Rafinha and Pedro Neto at you because we linked today.
keep
What you saying?
Rafinha and Pedro Neto away from my club. Pedro Neto injury prone. Rafinha, I don't like his mentality from what I've been hearing about him speaking about Brazil. They lose a game and he's like, yeah, well, our manager is new. Ronaldinho makes some comments about Brazil. He's like, well, he shouldn't be asking for tickets if he's going to make fun of us. Like, do you really want somebody at your club who's going to make fun of a Brazilian national legend about his criticism about his own country's team? Maybe I'm talking shit here, but I just don't know if he has a mentality to compete at the top level.
Okay, and the striker?
We're not signing a striker. Get that?
Okay.
I think we need to get that through our head.
Agrees. He doesn't
I
think
think striker. We looked at the market. We said to ourselves, Sesko, Ozyman, Victor Gyökeres. None of them seem like an ideal fit. If we sign any of them, we're going to be working really hard to get them to suited to our system. We might as well go and strengthen every other key area, and then maybe later down the line when we get an opportunity to sign Isaac, we'll go for it. But for now, I don't see us going for a striker. And if anybody does, please tell me who, because what makes more sense? Solve all the cracks or paint over it with a player that everyone likes?
Listen, if it was a case of signing Alexander Isak next summer, I'll be cool with it. But if we're not going to sign Isak and we're not going to sign one this summer, then when the hell is Arteta actually going to get a striker in? Because he's not bought one since Jesus, and he's not a striker, people say, or Havertz, and he's not a striker, people say. So it's like, when the hell are we actually going to go and get that striker for Arsenal? If we don't
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if we improve.
It doesn't matter if we win. If we win the league, it doesn't matter.
If we sort out our midfield and we make our defense even better, because how many games did you go to where the left flank was just defensively weak?
Well, the whole left side was poor at Arsenal.
Yeah. If we get in two midfielders and we get in a left back plus a winger, I think that's a perfect window. And I'm not even including the goalkeeper, because that's just who knows what goalkeeper we're going to get. Like, I don't know about you. I don't do scouting the Brazilian league or the French league for goalkeepers. And whenever I hear about those leagues, I only think about the attacking players. But yeah, have you ever scouted a goalkeeper? Be honest. Whenever we talk about transfers, we never really spend too much time on goalkeepers.
Nah, come on, man. Of course we don't, mate. Of course we don't. Just quickly, where is it? Isaac has asked about the Saliba rumors. Quick before we close, he's going nowhere, right? He's going nowhere.
Absolutely no way in hell. You send Arsenal of old under Arsene Wenger, where we had to pay for the stadium. Saliba could go for maybe 100 million, but this current Arsenal, you put 150 million on the table, we're rejecting it.
Yeah, I agree with you, mate. I agree with you. Listen, let's close there. Well, Dan Bentley looks like he could be the next Arsenal signing. He might even get done before Calafiori, man. The way that things are going and dragging on there, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? Let's see what happens there. So that is the breaking news. Dan Bentley to Arsenal, the Wolves' 30-year-old goalkeeper that we believe, or Egal believes, definitely will be coming in as a homegrown third goalkeeper. I will. I'm going to change the title now. I have to.
David Ornstein Bamba. New signing incoming.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but listen, Gal, big up for coming up, man. What you got?
I'm about to go live myself, man.
Go on, plug it, man. Plug it. I've redirected. People need to stay tuned.
I was gonna do a Q&A/life advice. So if you guys want to come on there, we're also talking about Arsenal transfer news as always. But at the end, you guys can send in your questions and we can just talk about life, or we can talk about football, whichever one.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Listen, stay tuned, people, because that is what's going to happen. We have got one super chat, of course, from Aaron. Big up myself, bro. Watch Arsenal loaning about 10 of these bench boys. Watch Arsenal loaning. Have I read that right, Egal?
We get his point, but we have to start selling. We cannot be loaning Zinchenko. We cannot be loaning Tierney again. Just get rid of them somehow. Zinchenko, if they want him for 25 million, give it to them. If they want Tavares for 2 million, give it to them.
Yeah, I
we
agree
still
with
have too many of these guys. We have 7 left backs.
Yeah, it's mad. And people say we need a left back. We've got 7 of them.
They're all bad, bro. They all have weaknesses.
This is the problem. Big up to Aaron for that as well, man, because I totally agree with you. I'm with you, man. You can't be loaning players like Lokonga going back on loan again. It's like, man, there needs to be an obligation to buy or option at least.
No, but people get mad when Matthias Guendouzi gets sold for a decent fee. Looking back at it, that was good business.
Do you know what? It was mad because when he was first on the scene, everyone was talking about him being this next best thing, but he's never going to be, man. But there we go. Anyway, listen, I'm going to end this now. Stay tuned, people. We're heading straight over to Igal. Igal, big up for coming on. We'll see you next time, people. Take it easy and up the Arsenal as ever, man. Laters.
Big up.